You ever feel like an outsider? You and your outcast cluster of friends with black hair wearing black clothes and black eyeliner, generally frowned upon by others, like my 49ers, maybe misunderstood or understood but marginalized. Take a look at Jesus, look into his eyes, realize this Christmas he was born on the wrong side of the tracks. He was pushed to the side. See, folks jump to conclusions 'cause his mom was a bride, but by God's power got pregnant before the marriage, horse before the carriage. Some people wrongly assumed she had another man on the side, so they wouldn't take her in even though she hadn't sinned. That's probably a big part of the story behind no room in the inn. And thus she gave birth in a dirt cave to Jesus, the outsider who came to the world that he made to save outsiders. Are you poor, struggling, not a lot of nice things, no way to pay for college unless the military rings? Take a close look at Jesus. Before his birth, worshipped as the Most High King of the universe, then demoted himself to poverty on earth. God became poor? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, for your sakes, that he might trade you his eternal riches, and you and he might switch places. Love moved him to leave heavenly graces and walk in your shoes, worn out with the frayed laces. He could have chosen anyone for parents, big names and pretty faces. Man, Mary and Joseph couldn't even afford middle-class sacrifices. You're in good company, God's. So lift your chin up. Jesus came down from above to lift you up. Feel threatened? Far from home, a foreigner, afraid, alone? Come close to Jesus. He fled his home for his life when he was 2 years old and lived in Egypt. My short, fat, skinny, ugly, unathletic, whatever it is, bullied kids. You should find a friend in Jesus who suffered from what the bullies did, who endured and overcame mockery, insults, death threats, was tied, lied about, crucified, beaten with whips. I know it's hard to understand how God could understand pain. When people say he's in control, but humans hurt you again and again. But he knows pain more than you know. He was rejected by friends and family, turned to his Father. There was no place else to go. Why did spirit become human? With flesh and breakable bones, why did God become a baby, poor, rejected outsider, leave his home? Maybe to show you that with him, you'll never be alone. But some of you might say, what about my home? I can't think of God as Father. My dad's a jerk, or mistreated me and my mother, or my sisters and brothers, or neither of my parents took the time to bother. They broke things off and separated. Now I'm left with the broken pieces, and doing 2 Christmases is way overrated. Jesus came to restore a world that we messed up. This cannot be overstated. To you who've wholly walked, his shalom is right relationships recalibrated. Get into God's story. It's more than history, poems, and niceties. It shows how God with us can and will and is setting a restless, chaotic world cold as ice at ease. Those of you who know all these, hear every Sunday and Wednesday of Christ's qualities, know his promises, his hope, love, joy, and peace for us, then live in truth and love with lion-hearted boldness and stay close to Jesus. When your peers look at our lives, do they see Jesus in us? Evidence of a new life? Is anything about you different? Do you blend in, chameleon? Do your claims of faith and your deeds clash like tunes that are dissonant? Or are they consonant? A constant complement to the one who came to earth and showed his great love to you. May it be so, and may our Father get the glory through you. To my guys in the weight room lifting heavy stuff, tough dudes. I am absolutely by no means huge, but I like to work out too. Maybe we especially need to keep this truth in view, that Jesus, this infant, is infinitely more powerful than me or you. And so fall to our knees, acknowledge our need, crawl to him on our knees. Wise men still humble themselves and bow down at his knees. To those who've been hard-hearted and far, don't stay closed to Jesus, indifferent or opposed to Jesus. Mr. Skeptic, Who knows? Jesus of Nazareth was likely born in spring or summertime of the year. So did the corrupt church just pick the 25th to pickpocket a pagan holiday, call it redeem, or was it commandeer? Miss Realist. Silent night? Are you kidding me? Do you know what it's like to give birth before modern anesthesiology? My niece was born a few months ago in the bathtub. Came early. I heard my sister labor and push, so I can imagine Mary. Or you don't want to be stupid-stitious, trust kid stories and tooth fairies. But Christ came, a real person, in real space-time history. You can fly to Israel and see where he walked. This is not mythology. I've been there, seen Herod's palaces, floated the Sea of Galilee, seen Simon Peter's home and the likely location of where Jesus died for we. Mr. Stay far away, 'cause giving your life to God sounds scary. So brush him off like he's not real or a bad dream. Think he'll ruin your fun, lead you astray, make you dumb? Quite the contrary. The Creator knows best, shows the way to the best. Don't waste your time on the fence and tarry. Miss out on a life that's extraordinary. You're not alone in your worry. I've had to wonder like you, if the sacrifice and price is worth it to follow Jesus too. But see the love, the blessings, the rewards he laid down his life to give. You'll be in good hands, like Allstate, if you turn to him and live. Now let me make confession. I cannot possibly address every last objection to believing in and receiving Jesus Christ in one convocation, but I offer to anyone seeking further conversation a hot drink from the mean bean on me. At lunch or after school, no detention and no pretension. But for now, I must conclude with highest honorable mention. All praise to the mighty God who became human and entered our situation, rich becoming poor to make the poor rich, immortal becoming mortal to make mortals immortal, the perfect, blameless, innocent one coming to take the place of the immoral, the timeless, eternal, transcendent entering the temporal, the most powerful becoming weak to make the weak powerful. God, the judge, the flawless, announcing mercy to the lawless and peace between angry Twitter typers, army spouses, friends, bitter haters. Belonging and honor to those who slip through the cracks. Invitation to the inner circle to those from the wrong side of the tracks. A church family to the lonely feeling on the edge of the map. Joy to the world in knowing God, way more than a life hack. Hope in a bright new start to those who only see dark looking back. So come to Jesus, run to Jesus. And when you're with him, then learn to walk with Jesus. And by walking with Jesus, you will find life anew with Jesus.